Welcome to the Sports Machine with Brian and Dean. December 17th, Thursday. Recording in Dallas, Texas. Great show lined up for you today. Dwight Howard and other NBA talk. Thursday night football preview. Buccaneers. Jameis Winston going up against the Rams. College Bowl. Pick six random bowls. We will name those bowls when we get there. Of course, somebody's going to get really loaded in our NFL pick six. Starting off in the NFL, I saw Mike Pettin say some things, and I saw that some people got heated by it. I don't know why. I didn't understand. Basically, Cleveland Browns coach Mike Pettin doesn't consider Russell Wilson a top 3 to 4 quarterback in the NFL. I don't see the big problem with that, because I don't think he's a top 3 or 4 player in the NFL either.
I don't think he's a top 3, but I do think he's top 5. And I think his stats and his numbers prove it.
I disagree.
All right, let's take a look at Russell Wilson, right? This is only Russell Wilson's 4th season. He's in the middle of his 4th season in the league right now. He's already been to 2 Super Bowls. Been to 2 Super Bowls, won one, lost one. Peyton Manning and a couple other guys, Drew Brees. There's a couple other guys out there. Those 2 being one of the main guys who you could say are top 3 or top 4 ahead of Russell Wilson. They didn't win their first playoff game until their 6th season. Russell Wilson has already won more than a couple of playoff games in 4 seasons. So look at his numbers real quick. For his career, his passer rating, I believe, is 101.3. He's thrown for over 13,239 yards with 98 touchdowns in 4 seasons.
I think I can name 5 quarterbacks better than him. It's not anything against him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a good number. I'm not saying he doesn't play well to that system. But I think I can name 5 quarterbacks better than Russell Wilson.
Shoot. Go ahead.
Tom Brady.
Okay.
Drew Brees.
All right.
Carson Palmer. You've seen the last 2 years. We've seen with Carson Palmer, without Carson Palmer, what Arizona is.
Right.
Drew Brees.
All right.
Cam Newton.
Okay.
That's 5. Aaron Rodgers. Haven't even mentioned him yet.
Right. See, my deal with that is
Andy Dalton.
you take Andy Dalton over Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Okay. I disagree with that, due to the fact that I guess I come from you and I being of different eras in just a slight way anyway. You know, I come from, I believe, the era of your wins. Russell Wilson has some wins. He's, despite that one.
If we're going off of wins, Joe Flacco will be in the conversation. We're going off of wins. I didn't even mention Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
Like,
same thing with Eli Manning. Eli Manning. So it's like,
so even if you want to use
I'm
that
not
argument,
even bashing Eli Manning. Like I said before, I'll take Eli Manning so long as I can get the 2 Super Bowls with him. People forget, Terry Bradshaw wasn't always known as the smartest quarterback or wasn't always the most talented quarterback, but he never lost a Super Bowl. He went to 4 of them, never lost one of them. Never lost now one of them, but he has 4 Super Bowl titles. And is considered one of the best quarterbacks in not just Steelers history, in Steelers franchise history, but in NFL history. And see, like, now we have become like kind of like the NFL's become like a numbers driven league, and to get back to the point, I just wanted to point out some of his great numbers that he's had in just 4 seasons, which makes me feel that he is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL today.
Maybe
because of the fact that earlier this season, he's been one of the most sacked quarterbacks, but if you look at over the past couple of weeks that they've gotten the offensive line together, he's looking like a world beater.
I mean, if we go past couple of weeks, then Kirk Cousins is a top 5 quarterback.
No, we're not going off of. I'm saying Kirk Cousins doesn't have the, let's say, the profile this guy has.
But there's players that do have that profile that aren't playing as well right now.
Yeah, that's true too. But then there's other players that hasn't done what he's done in the first 4 seasons that he's has.
You can't.
He's done.
So you're telling me you can't name 5 quarterbacks better than Russell Wilson?
No, I'm saying right now Russell Wilson is in my top 5 of top quarterbacks in the league right now. He is.
All right. I'm not going to bash your list, but to me, I think I could rattle off 7, 8 quarterbacks better than Russell Wilson, in my opinion.
And I also look at the fact that this guy's not a turnover machine. He's not a turnover machine. He does not turn the ball over as much as a couple other quarterbacks have. Now, granted, Cam Newton is having a great season this year, but he just done that this season. Russell Wilson has been pretty, I guess what you could say, he's been pretty accurate throughout his 4 years in the league. Cam Newton's had some ups and downs.
Cam Newton's had very questionable teams.
Right. He's been the only guy, but then you could say the same thing with Russell Wilson.
He's been the only guy. Russell Wilson's been the only guy. That defense, Legion of Boom, does not exist.
Yeah. He's had a good defense.
And Marshawn Lynch doesn't exist.
You can't bash him for having a good defense.
And Marshawn Lynch, he doesn't exist.
He has a running back. What else? Pedestrian wide receivers?
Cam Newton has below pedestrian wide receiver. Jericho Cotchery still gets playing time in the league.
Jericho Cotchery once
upon a time. Yeah, once upon a long time ago.
There it is,
back
right
in
there.
Genesis.
Jericho Cotchery still. He can still make plays.
He cannot make plays.
That's all that matters. If you can make plays, if you can make some plays, there's a place for you in the NFL.
Yeah, on the bench, maybe, for Jericho Cotchery.
I don't blame, I don't blame the offense coordinator or the head coach. That was the offensive coordinator, correct? Saying he's not in his top 3 or top 4 guys, but I do think, once again, Russell Wilson is a top 5 guy. I believe there's a lot of teams out there that would take Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback. More than half the league.
I think there's at least 10 that wouldn't.
And majority of them is with the teams that you named, right?
Probably.
Like the Bengals, who has
even teams that I didn't mention. You think that Indianapolis would just take Russell Wilson over Andrew Luck?
Yes.
I'm not talking like right now. I'm talking about for the future. They would take him.
Yes.
All right.
I would take Russell Wilson over Andrew Luck. Yes.
I've been saying that for a long time, so I just don't think Indianapolis would.
Right. Well, because at the end of the day, it's all about egos with that when it comes to that. Because it's no friend. It's no different from like Cleveland and Johnny Manziel right now. They didn't want to let him go because of the whole clubbing situation, because they didn't want to admit that they failed on the quarterback that they moved back up to take instead of going back letting Teddy Bridgewater fall into their lap. They decided, hey, we got to go get the flashier name guy who's going to put butts in the seats.
I don't think Jacksonville would. I think anybody with a young core, Tampa Bay and Tennessee aren't just going to give up on theirs. Wouldn't give up theirs
for a proven winner who's only 27. He's been to 2 Super Bowls in 4 seasons.
I think you're underestimating the team that he has around him. I really do.
I'm not underestimating those guys, but I look at the fact that this guy is the leader on his offense. Marshawn Lynch is a great running back. great running back, but at the same time, this team, the guy who has the ball in his hands at all times is the quarterback, which is Russell Wilson. If he's out there turning the ball over, being what you call a gift basket, like in Andrew Luck or a couple other guys that's out there, who was that down there? Matty Ice, who looked like he's not ice. He's just he's melting ice right now. Who's done had multiple turnover games. You seen what happens when your quarterback turns the ball over as often as you have. You can say the same thing about Peyton Manning right now. Peyton Manning, his record doesn't say, like, his past is fantastic. It's Hall of Fame numbers, but as of this season, yeah, he's looks like somebody we don't even know. We don't even recognize. We don't even know this guy who's playing or who was playing at the time. But Russell Wilson has been consistent.
To me, Russell Wilson is what Alex Smith could have been had he had a team around him.
But he's not afraid to throw the ball down the field.
I don't think Alex Smith is either.
I don't know about like. I beg to differ on that.
I think they basically have a similar talent level, doing similar things. Alex Smith is a little bit taller, have similar arms, similar talent abilities. It's just Alex Smith did not have what Russell Wilson does.
Right.
In my opinion.
I'll take Russell Wilson.
I mean, I'll take Russell Wilson over Alex Smith, obviously, but what I'm saying is when Alex Smith came into the league, he was the same exact way Russell Wilson was.
Right.
I think people underestimate what teams being in the right situation does.
See, my deal with that is as far as Russell, like as far as Alex Smith goes, I think let's not forget. I agree with you to the standpoint of like he could have had so much more going for him, but when you look at he was in San Francisco, how many different offensive coordinators, different head coaches that was coming through his town. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's what I'm saying. Like,
right.
He didn't have the same situation Russell Wilson had.
But then you can't blame Russell for that.
I don't blame Russell. I'm just pointing out that I think talent-wise, him and Alex Smith came in the league about the same talent.
Difference is that
he had Marshawn Lynch and the Legion of Boom. That's what the difference is.
And he's done what he's supposed to do as a quarterback.
He's a glorified game manager. That's what he is.
Hey, take that. He'll take that. 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. His first 4 years, a lot of guys take that.
Don't say 2. He won 1.
Yeah. 2 Super. he's been in 2 Super Bowls. He's been in 2 Super Bowls. Once again, that whole last play call and all that stuff there. That is what it is. It's what you call unfortunate. That's an unfortunate event that happened. So
if it's all about winning, that means Peyton Manning and Russell Wilson, career-wise, are the same.
If you look at Super Bowls, yeah.
There you go. And Eli Manning is the better one of both.
It's all about the wins.
Coming up, NBA talk right here on the Sports Machine. Sports Machine, this is Brian Franklin with Sports Machine Daily Sports Ticker. In Major League Baseball, the Chicago White Sox have landed All-Star Todd Frazier from the Cincinnati Reds. The trade included 7 players and 3 teams. Abby Wambach has played her last game with the United States women's soccer team. Unfortunately, the United States lost the game 1-0 to China, snapping their 104 home game unbeaten streak. Last night's NBA scores are as follows. The Pacers blew out the Mavericks 107-81. The Hornets couldn't handle the Magic, losing 113-98. The Heat won a close game against the Nets 104-98. The Pistons held off the Celtics for the win 119-116. The Timberwolves fell just short against the Knicks 107-102. The Philadelphia NBA team lost again, this time to the Hawks 127-106. The Bulls got their 4th straight win. It came against the Grizzlies 98-85. The Thunder handled business against the Trailblazers 106-90. The Spurs won their 23rd straight home game. Losing team was the Wizards 114-95. The Pelicans beat the Jazz 104-94. The Warriors bounced back, blowing out the Suns 128-103. And the Clippers got a victory against the Bucks 103-90. The Sports Machine had a little debate on Russell Wilson, where he ranks among NFL best quarterbacks. Moving to the NBA. Been a lot of talk about Dwight Howard. and maybe being traded, says he's not going to request a trade. Why would he request a trade?
My deal is this guy's never happy. Like, I think he's one of those, he's one of those guys who once again, I think he has soft skin. And the fact of the matter is now he's 30 years old, which is not old, but he's 30 years old with back problems. And then you look at the fact that he's beginning to realize that the situation that he had in Orlando wasn't as bad as he thought it was. And there's no way he can get back to that now. And you starting to see that even with Stan Van Gundy, what he's doing in Detroit right now. Dwight Howard, man,
he had a team built around him.
My point exactly.
For his abilities.
My point exactly. He was the main focus guy as far as the ball being dropped in the inside, and the rest of the team was just shooters. Hey, drop it into Dwight. Dwight, if it's not there, kick it out. Hey, if you ain't got the shot, pass the ball around. That's what got them to the NBA Finals. Was that system. And for whatever reason, this guy just decided to say, hey, you know what? This ain't for me no more. This head coach and again, just got too big on himself.
He chased the money. He thought he could play anywhere, which, to be honest, he probably could play anywhere if he had the will to change the way he plays.
Right.
Well, he doesn't have that, and he did not put in the effort to get a post game the way some of the greats thought he should put in effort to get a post game.
Right.
I mean, they said he had great ability, could have got the same post game.
Right.
Similar to, I think you mentioned Stephen A. Smith said something about DeMarcus Cousins.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins put in the work to get that post game.
Right. Not to mention, he can put the ball on the floor. He can shoot the shot. Like, he's a more well-rounded guy right now. But like you said, before when we discussed this before the show, one thing one thing you can't compare is what Dwight Howard was when he was in Orlando. That freak, that 6'11" guy who was just, could jump out of a stadium, catch anything from anywhere. He was unstoppable down there. He's not that guy anymore. And I understand the whole, hey, he only gets 5, 6, 7 shots a game because you got James Harden jacking up shots all day, but that's the situation you got yourself into.
So you wanted to play, you playing with a star.
Exactly.
You play with a star. This is kind of what you get, especially when it's a star like James Harden. You didn't play with LeBron, who passes the ball on a regular basis.
Exactly.
You play with James Harden.
Exactly. Who's iffy on the defensive end. And once again, he could be the guy right now in L.A. He could have stayed patient. But once again, sometimes playing with greatness, playing with guys who's great and who's expect greatness out of you and demand that you be better than you are, that you try to excel, is a bit overwhelming to some guys, a bit overbearing. So he couldn't take overwhelming and overbearing, so he left to Houston, in my opinion. Got down there, got another young star with him, and once upon a time there was a story out about Dwight Howard and James Harden that was like about them, hey, eating lunch away from the rest of the players. It wasn't a big team. It wasn't a big team type of deal. So therefore, now all of a sudden it's a rift between those two guys. It's like, well, hey, he takes too many shots, he does this, or he does that. I don't want to be here no more. Well, dude, you starting to hit that point in time in your career where you got to make a choice.
Well, at this point, I don't even think he has a choice. What team do you know that would just be willing to take him for what the Rockets would ask for him?
Honestly, I don't have an answer for that question right there. Because
if I had a contending team, I'm a fan of the Spurs. I wouldn't want the Spurs to pick him up. I've been saying they need a center.
Right.
I wouldn't want him to have Dwight Howard.
Right. Because, for one, once again, I said it once, I said it again. This guy, 6'11", 30 years old, and he already has back problems. Missed a lot of games this season with back problems. Had Dwight Howard, in my opinion, had Dwight Howard been playing better, had not missed so much time due to injury, I don't think Kevin McHale would have been fired.
I think that goes to your previous point about the whole team thing.
Right.
More than it goes on Dwight Howard being injured. Dwight Howard, his will to play is very much in question.
Right.
His ability to play, he is what he is. You know, he can be a defensive stopper in the middle.
Right.
And from that, he's a good enough rebounder where he can get offensive rebounds and put up shots the way he does. And you could create a little something for him on the offensive side if you choose to.
Right.
Not as much as the bigger stars at center now.
Right.
Dwight Howard is no longer a top 3 center. I don't think you could consider him. I mean, he's not doing what Andre Drummond's doing. He's not doing what DeMarcus Cousins is doing.
Nope.
And in a way, you could say he's not even doing what rookie Karl Anthony Towns is doing.
What about Porzingis?
Porzingis is 4 or 5-ish.
Right.
I would if you put him at center, I don't think he's doing what Porzingis is doing.
Right.
Porzingis just had 7 blocks against the Timberwolves.
Clowning. Yet that's the same city that, not the same city, but he was booed horribly on this draft night.
Oh, it was pretty bad.
You know, once again, I think for Dwight Howard, it's just it's starting to become one of those stories where it's like, man, this guy used to be this right here, and this is what he is now.
So this is my question. I asked it pre-show. What if, I have no intention of thinking this would ever happen, but what if the Bulls and the Rockets just traded straight up Derrick Rose for Dwight Howard?
I'm not sure if they'd even make. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. Mainly because I think Derrick Rose will probably need. Like, I think he kind of needs a new environment.
That's why
like
I
a new
think
city.
Derrick Rose just needs to get away from Chicago.
Right. Because, I mean, that's his hometown, and he's been there his whole career, and he's been trying to shoulder the whole situation of, yo, I was brought in here to be, you know, the heir apparent to Jordan and make and bring some championships to the city like he did because, hey, let's be for real, Derrick Rose talent is up.
I mean, yeah, when he came in, the MVP,
Right.
just going one-on-one with LeBron, he looked like he was going to be the truth, and then, unfortunately, the injuries started piling up on him, and then what made it even worse was when he was injured, the budding of a new star came about when Jimmy Butler.
Right.
Now he's competing with Jimmy Butler just to be the star in Chicago, in which Derrick Rose doesn't seem like the kind of guy to just want to outbeat his teammate.
Right.
He's just trying to play basketball.
Right.
But, you know, the public is going to push it that way.
Exactly.
Who is the leader of this team? It has to be one of y'all.
Exactly.
And to be honest, it looks like Jimmy Butler.
So my question is to you now. Could Derrick Rose and Dwight Howard play on the same team?
Yeah.
Like, if you want, like,
I think actually that'd be perfect for Dwight Howard because Derrick Rose's dish game from the inside is pretty sick.
right. So it's like, when you said, like, all right, when you think about what Dwight Howard was, like you said, with the team that he had around him, he could use more of a traditional style point guard, I guess you could say. A guy who's not going to jack up so many shots. So would you be willing to trade away James Harden to Chicago for? No? You still take James Harden even with.
I mean, personally, I don't like James Harden like that, but you couldn't convince anybody that Derrick Rose and James Harden for each other would be. You would have to get some picks and some.
So it wouldn't be a straight up trade.
Yeah, there's no
right.
Because
I can understand that. I can understand. Once that was just that's hypothetical I was throwing at there from a standpoint. It's like, well, hey,
Because I believe that would work better than James Harden, Dwight Howard,
right?
especially on the defensive end.
Because Rose is a much better defensive player than
Rose can play defense.
Exactly.
And James Harden does play some type of defense. It's the go ahead and shoot. So
Yeah,
I can get back
yeah.
on the other side of the court and shoot myself.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to hurry this along here.
Right.
I don't want to be over here for 24 seconds.
Right.
Go ahead and take your shot. Coming up on the Sports Machine, dive into the football, starting off with a Thursday night matchup. Sports Machine with Brian and Dean went over Russell Wilson, where he ranks among today's quarterbacks. Dwight Howard, his situation in Houston. Let's get into the Thursday night NFL matchup. Tonight, the Buccaneers going to St. Louis. Jameis Winston has played well recently. Okay, since he started.
Right.
Since his first 3 games, he's played really well, in my opinion. Looked like they were going to compete for a playoff spot, then lost a couple games. Looks like they're pretty much out of it. They would have to win out. Do you think that they still have the motivation to go into St. Louis and beat a St. Louis team that has also struggled?
Most definitely. Especially when you think about the fact that, anything can happen. I mean, Green Bay could lose a couple of games. Seattle could lose a couple of games. But I mean, right now in the playoff. Right now it's Minnesota and Seattle's off in the wild card, right?
8-5, I believe.
So anything could happen with Minnesota because of the fact that, hey, they've gotten blown out a few. They've gotten handled a bit. Like, this not looking like this, like the same team.
Coaching questions.
Exactly. Star players saying, coaches getting out coached and not getting enough touches or carries and things like that. So there's still a fighting chance, but the problem with that is you're going to need some help. And usually you want to put yourself in a better position from the standpoint of just relying on your own abilities and not having to rely on another team to help you get in. But sometimes you do what you have to do. If you need help to get in, hey, you pull a jump, you pull a Coughlin, like when the Cowboys played the Redskins on the Monday night game about a week ago, and you do jumping jacks when the team that you need to win and help you gain more ground on where you need to be at, But at the end of the day, they still control their own fate for us. If they just win games, everything else may play out well for them. I think that Minnesota could slump more than Seattle because Seattle's they've hit their stride. They're starting to hit a late stride going into the playoffs. So right now, their best bet is to hope that the next remaining games for Minnesota begins to slide and skid a bit, and hopefully they can slide into that last spot.
Minnesota plays the Bears this week in Minnesota. Then they play the Giants in Minnesota. And then they go to Green Bay for the last game of the season.
That's a heck of a schedule.
It's possible they could lose a couple.
Exactly.
But it's also possible that the Packers might bench all their players for the last game.
True story. So it's like you said, they could go 1-2 the next 3 games, or they could go 2-1. They could go 3-0. But at the same time, I think that's the difference between good coaches and great coaches. Great coaches is going to get these guys up and ready to play. Like, hey, we're still playing for something here. I don't care what anybody say. We still have a chance, and as long as we have that chance, we go out there and play for that chance. Because they've turned the season this team looks like a whole different team from what they were at the first half of the season.
You remember the first game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers?
That was horrible.
Against Tennessee, and everyone's talking about Mariota, Hall of Fame, and Jameis Winston's a bust.
Exactly.
The overreaction week 1.
Right. It was like, man, Jameis Winston doesn't want no more parts of Marcus Mariota. He doesn't want to see this guy anymore. But once again, the problem with that was Marcus Mariota had a good head coach at the time that actually called plays that worked well for Marcus Mariota, where it is Jameis Winston was just, hey, you learning all this as is. And because he's learned and he's taken the time to study and become a pro's pro, has earned the respect of his team, he's been, learning and doing what he's supposed to do. And you see the results of it.
And no off-season talk about Jameis Winston, or off-field talk.
Right.
No, coming into the league, there was this suspicion that he was going to have his name in the media all the time.
Right.
And I haven't seen anything since the beginning of the season
Exactly.
about anything Jameis Winston while he was off the field.
Right.
He did not turn into a Johnny Manziel situation
Exactly.
where it's just name thrown after.
The whole incident that happened with the crab legs and everything like that, he's kept himself clean. And I think he realized that in the NFL, you don't have time for that. When you're a quarterback in the NFL and you want to be one of the top guys.
You want to be mentioned with the Russell Wilsons.
Yes.
In the top 5s.
Exactly. And then you have an MVP candidate playing in your same division, a guy who you probably watched play when he was at Auburn, and Cam Newton. You see what this guy's doing with, like you said before, average or below average talent at key positions. You begin to ask yourself, hey, well, how come I can't do it? Well, what's the difference between me and them? Well, those guys are studying. Those guys are the first ones in, last ones out. They're perfecting. They're trying to become masters of their craft. So you got to ask yourself, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice to become a master of your craft? And right now, he's proven that he's willing to sacrifice and do what is necessary to become a master of his craft. Which is, if you're, like I say, you're Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, man, you got to be happy with that. Because you haven't had anything consistent from the quarterback positioning since who? Brad Johnson and Sean King?
Yeah, that's not good. Those are not. It's been a while. Coming up, we get into the college bowl season right here on the Sports Machine.
I'm Dwaylen Dean, and this is your Sports Machine News Update. Usain Bolt is set to warm up for the Rio Olympics by competing at the 2016 London Anniversary Games. The double Olympic champion in the 100, 200, and 4x100 meters will return to the track where he won those titles in 2012. Queen Elizabeth Olympic Park in Stratford, London, for the July 22nd and 23rd event is part of the IAFF Diamond League Series. Rory McIlroy has been named European Tour's Golfer of the Year, claimed the award for the third time in 4 years. The world's number 3, whose season was severely disrupted by an ankle injury this summer, claimed 3 European titles in 2015, including a thrilling victory at the DP World Tournament Championships. That was your Sports Machine News Update. I am Dwaylen Dean, Sports Machine.
Sports Machine with Brian Dean, went over Russell Wilson, Dwight Howard. The Thursday night matchup scheduled to come on tonight between Tampa Bay and St. Louis.
Who you got in that game?
I have Tampa Bay.
We got so caught up in the, I guess you could say, some of the maturation of Jameis Winston. We didn't even give our picks. And St. Louis is St. Louis. That's why you mostly heard us talk about Tampa Bay, because Tampa Bay, like you said, they're playing for something in St. Louis. I mean, there's just questions about them like it was last season.
Are they going to L.A.?
Exactly. That's all everybody's wondering about. Are they going to L.A.? What they going to do with the quarterback position and things like that. So, I'm like you. I have Tampa Bay. I got Tampa Bay winning 2017.
It's time for the college pick 6.
Yes.
Now, I will throw out, a little warning shot that this pick 6 may not be the greatest games due to the fact that there are so many random bowls.
Right.
But we are still going to do it. 'Cause that's
Most
what we do.
Right.
It's not going to be that bad from the start. We have the Gildon, New Mexico Bowl.
You're right.
6-6 Arizona going up against 7-5 New Mexico. You want to start?
You know, I'm gonna go with your old head coach from the University of Michigan, man.
Rich Rod.
I'm gonna go with Rich Rod and his offense. You know, it's funny because Rich Rod was on South Carolina's radar before they made their hire, but he turned it down. I guess he decided to stick with Arizona. So I'm just gonna roll with Arizona, mainly because of Rich Rodriguez. I mean, that's not really a good thing because one team is 6-6, the other one is 75. One has actually 2 games above 500. But hey,
See, I have a very similar reasoning to you,
uh-huh.
but the exact opposite result. I'm picking New Mexico because of Rich Rod.
You said I can't root for that man after what he did to my team, man.
I don't blame Rich Rodriguez, but the same thing doesn't work.
But see, Rich Rod, the reason why, and you know this better than I do, the reason why they brought him in was because he's supposed to be like a top recruiting guy. Like he could get guys to come to your school.
I would like to
play.
mention you, Michigan fan. You can't thank Rich Rodriguez for Denard Robinson.
Yeah.
It's because he's the only reason Denard Robinson worked. Denard Robinson was cool.
Right.
I still root for Denard Robinson.
Right.
At the same time, I don't trust them. New Mexico. Arizona's favored by 9 points, so I'm probably going to lose that. But, for the Gildon New Mexico Bowl, I'll take New Mexico.
Straight up.
Next up, Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl.
That's some good oil. Royal Purple.
Okay.
If you got your A1 car, you run that Royal Purple, I'm telling you, you don't have to go and get that oil changed every 3 months, like 3 months or something.
This is probably going to be the best.
6 months.
This is probably going to be the best game we picked, too. BYU and Utah. BYU had like 2 Hail Marys in a row. You remember that?
Right.
And then you have Utah, who
had a phenomenon going at the beginning of the year. Like,
then you had Utah doing what they were doing at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Going undefeated for so long. This is be actually a very interesting game.
Right.
The only one.
Fun to watch.
Yeah, one I might actually watch out of these.
I'm going to go with BYU for the upset, man. I think Utah is the favorite in the line. And I'm going to go with BYU. Why? Because of the fact that what you said earlier, this team know that they're never out of a game.
Yeah, they know how to throw Hail Mary. I know
Exactly. It comes to throwing Hail Marys, this team is 2 for 2. In game-winning situations like that, anyway, that we know of. They're 9-3. Both teams are.
When your percentage of Hail Marys is above 50,
you're solid.
or above 10, above 10%, you have a good Hail Mary game.
Exactly, because those don't always drop. And the fact they got 2 of them in 2 straight weeks.
I'll take Utah because they beat Michigan at the very first game. No reason.
Right. What happened to that team, too? Like, you talking about the team fell off the map. They just fell off the map.
I mean, they're still ranked 22nd in the AP.
Yeah, they just got in. For
Really,
a long time. Exactly.
Doesn't
For a
matter.
long time, they wasn't in the mix. Like, they was just...
it took some teams losing. Sometimes you need help. Sometimes you need to do jumping jacks. We just went over this.
Oh, man.
The Raycom Media Camilla Bowl. It's a long one. Ohio versus Appalachian State.
Ohio gonna get drugged.
Yeah,
Appalachian
I'm
State.
taking Appalachian State because
Exactly.
they beat Michigan at one point in time.
I'm thinking, I've noticed, a lot of guys that tend to come out of Appalachian State, especially their receivers, I mean, these guys got the juice. I'm talking, these guys are burners, man.
They've lost 2 games this season. One was to Clemson.
Uh-huh.
The other one was to Arkansas State, who has a game that we'll be picking later.
So, otherwise, this team could have been 11-1.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. I'm sticking with I'm gonna go with Appalachian State too. I don't think this game will even be close. I think Ohio. I'm not sure how often they've had winning seasons,
Ohio did pretty good last season, I believe.
They did.
I watched a few, but Ohio did lose to some questionable games this year, which include Minnesota, Western Michigan, Buffalo, and Bowling Green. They got blown out by Bowling Green, 62-24.
Good God, this team. So Appalachian State is basically licking their chops. Like y'all.
I wish I could say that with like all certainty.
Right.
But from my brief research into these schools this year, I would say Appalachian State has the upper hand.
Marcus Scott, Appalachian State running back, he has 219 carries.
Yeah, he puts it.
Over 2,000 yards rushing, 8 touchdowns on the season.
Next game, Auto Nation Cure Bowl. San Jose State, which is 5-7, and Georgia State, who is 6-6.
I just thought about that line. We was listening to some music earlier about when he said the Cure Bowl. Yeah, he said, y'all, he said it. The Cure Bowl.
That's what it says.
Yeah, I'm not
reading
bashed.
it straight from
I'm not bashed. I'm just saying that. Yeah, I ain't just thought about the line. Lil Wayne drop.
I'll take San Jose State because their running back has almost 1,500 rushing yards. That is the only reason.
I can understand that.
I mean, it's 5-7 versus a 6-6 against schools I have no clue about. At least I'm honest about it.
I'm gonna rock Georgia State. Yeah, we're going with Georgia State. You know what I'm saying?
Nick Arbuckle.
Say, name like that, boy, is cool. Like John Arbuckle from Garfield. He needs a cat. He's cool.
He's cool.
Yeah. He cool. He not cool. He's cool.
I don't know about that. You're gonna make me do research over here.
Oh, man.
Unneeded research on that dude.
Oh, man.
Next up, RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl.
Right.
Arkansas State, Louisiana Tech. For a brief second, Arkansas State, am I correct that last year they were the team that did the feigning
Right.
dude dying on the sideline?
Right.
Or whatever.
Like the receiver, somebody, he grabs his heart and just falls like instant death. And one guy was looking like, what is he doing?
Well, I think we know who I'm picking. I'm picking Arkansas State.
I'm going with Louisiana Tech, La Tech. Mainly because I picked them because I got a throwback Terry Bradshaw jersey when he played at Louisiana
I do like
Tech.
actually their wide receiver, Trent Taylor.
Yeah.
I probably would have picked them if Arkansas State didn't have that play in their playbook. The fact that they have that play in their playbook means that I have to pick them.
And it also helps when you kind of playing in your backyard when you're Louisiana Tech.
Nah. Arkansas is not that far away. They'll travel. Key question of the day, does Arkansas State's fans travel?
We will see. We will see. Because this game is being played, this game is being showed on ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
8 o'clock Saturday. So we will see.
For the 6th game, we're going to Monday. Miami Beach Bowl. Western Kentucky versus South Florida.
You know what? If I'm a player, I wouldn't mind playing in this bowl game. Miami Beach Bowl, you get to go down Miami. You done already done all your finals. Once the game is over with, hopefully coaches give you a little bit of time.
No.
Free time.
No free time. I think it probably depends on whether you win or lose.
Right on.
I'll take Western Kentucky because they're 11-2.
I'm taking South Florida. Marion Mack has 193 carries for over 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. Once again, this is a Florida team playing basically in their backyard.
I'm actually interested in some of these bowls that happen later on in the week that we'll probably get into next week.
Right.
These Temple plays later on in the week.
Temple and Toledo, that's going to be an awesome game.
Like, that's what I think.
Yeah, most definitely. Most definitely.
Indiana plays Duke. Probably next week we'll get into that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about that time because random bowls make you say?
Real, really though. Real, really.
The Raycom Media Camellia Bowl.
Camellia Bowl.
Camellia Bowl, whatever. Really though?
I think a camellia. I think that's a flower.
I think so.
I think it is. I
I
think
just don't know how to say it.
Nah, man. Because when I looked at it, I couldn't see like I'm not sure like on ESPN the way they got it lit up. Like I guess maybe I need to brighten my screen, but I couldn't see it that well. Neither. I thought it was camellia. And I looked at it and I looked at it from a different angle. And it's like okay, camellia bowl. It's like a flower. I think it is, but.
Getting to the actual really though segment. Who would you like to go first?
My really though goes to the Milwaukee Bucks. Mainly because, for one reason, is because they messed up my prediction of the Warriors going.
Because they won?
Yeah.
Really though for winning?
I'm a really though. I'm not really though them because of that, but it's like you think after a win like that, this team would, they get a little bit of backbone and get some confidence and, go out there and make some things happen. But instead, they go into LA to the Lakers, who's garbage right now, and just lay an egg. Come to find out, there's a reason for it.
It's LA.
Yeah, it's LA most definitely. So a couple of the basketball players, OJ Mayo, Greg Monroe, Chris Middleton, and Miles Plumlee partied at Ace of Diamonds strip club till 2:00 that morning. Oh, really though?
They don't have a game until later. It'll be all right.
Yeah, that's how I start. Yeah. Yeah. No. No. Coach puts him on blast to the Milwaukee Journal, says, hey, only one rule. No partying before you have a game. No party. They could have went and done their thing after the game. After they blowed out the Lakers probably. But no, they wanted to go and do it before the game, which means they got to the game and was slacked out because half of them was probably drunk out their mind. I've heard some nice things about Ace of Diamonds in LA. So, Milwaukee Bucks. Really though?
They just trying to have fun, man.
That's how I start. Trying to have fun. All of a sudden, you got unknown cats just giving you the blues. Giving you the blues.
Unknown. There's some known people on the Lakers.
A known person on their team.
D'Angelo Russell and Julius Randle. I mean, Roy Hibbert was known for a minute.
Yeah. Now he's faded back into.
I mean, yeah, he's on like the 18th minute right now.
Right now, 15 minutes of fame. You got the line for it.
I'm not going that deep.
So I start.
My really though goes into a Packers fan, which I don't think I should really be really though in, but I just know I wouldn't do it. And I felt like I need to bring it up. A Packers fan dives into a sewer because he dropped his ticket into it. Yeah. Like, I know how I dress going to a game. And there's usually a decent pair of shoes on.
Right.
I'm not going to the sewer. I'm just not going to the game. I'll hit the bar across the street and watch it from the bar.
Just be mad. Just be mad as mud.
It might be better that way anyway. Going to games is crowded. Would you for a Dallas Cowboy? Because I know for a Bears game, I'm not jumping in no sewer. You going into a sewer for a Cowboys game?
Depending on how much I paid for the ticket. Because when I heard you say this at first, I thought maybe like someone dared him, like, like a radio station, hey, dive in the sewer for this free ticket. No, but like out of my own hard-earned money, especially I done paid some crazy dough. $3, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $900 for a ticket. Yeah, I need that ticket. I got to get that ticket.
I don't know.
I go and I sit next somebody smell like all kinds of porta potty with bruh. I didn't waste that ticket. I'll sell it. Probably won't get just to keep from going in there smelling like that, being an embarrassment. I go get the ticket right in the sewer. You know how you got those scalpers people want to hang around out and say, hey, tickets, got one? Hey, I got one right here, man. What's your best doggone offer?
I would have to spend a lot on the ticket. Probably more than I'm willing to spend. which is probably why I wouldn't do
We'll
it.
go exactly.
I'm not jumping in the sewer for a ticket.
No, not for a dare though. Not for radio station just comes in. Hey, you should dive in the sewer for this ticket, and then turn out to be a
Even
nosebleed seat.
Even if I paid for it, like it would have to go above my price range initially anyway. Like it would have to be something I saved up for,
Right.
and a game I really look forward to seeing. I don't know what game that is.
Super Bowl.
It would have to be because regular season I don't think it's worth it.
Right.
Like
Super Bowl against a rival or somebody.
my team's actually Super Bowl. You got to. You know how expensive the joints is.
Yo, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like just take your shoes off, put them in the side, nice, little neat.
I'm never getting it. I'm not getting into them again until later. I go in there shoeless.
They say, sir, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
You should be thanking me. You should be thanking me right now that I'm not wearing shoes. Almost like an airport getting in NFL games now anyway.
True story. I mean, they hit you with one about 4 or 5 times. Sir, wait.
Sir, stop. Well,
You just warned me. You just warned me once.
sir, we have a SWAT dude sitting over there fully ready.
Yo, like when we went to the Cowboys game, yo, he had it out. It was a straight warning. Do not try me. I will gun you down. God.
It was not.
Yo, I'm serious. Like,
Do not try that guy.
blacked out. I'm talking full Expendables gear. Look like one of the cats from the Expendables. We'll HUD you out.
Moving on into the NFL pick 6. Jets Cowboys. Would you dive into the sewer for it?
Yes.
You would dive in the sewer for the Jets Cowboys.
Yeah, because if I spent my dough on them tickets, yeah, I'm diving in the sewer for them
Right.
tickets. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I got to get them. I got, like the little bird say, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Man, yo, I spent my dough. I'm cuckoo for my dough. And I spent some dough on them tickets, and I got to get it. I'm going to get it.
I feel you. I'm not doing it. Who you got? Jets Cowboys. Jets fighting for that playoff spot. Trying
Right.
not to lose ground to the Bills.
This game comes on a short week, and I think the Cowboys winds out pulling it out in a similar fashion like they did with the Redskins game. And granted, you guys know I've been team tank. You also heard how I feel about Jason Garrett and his clapping this week. But somehow, some way, I think they get this win and leave the Jets kind of in a strange situation. Because I think that's the only way how Pittsburgh is going to get in to the playoffs is if the Jets have a meltdown, have some type of a moment.
I think the Jets are going to win.
Right.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick does just enough to get the job done. I don't think the Cowboys can score.
Right.
I think Ryan Fitzpatrick just scored 20 points, man. Maybe even 17.
True story.
And I think that'll be enough. Or Chris Ivory. Just throw the ball up to Brandon Marshall. You know your Christmas present. You got your Christmas present. You know what to do. Just give him the ball. So I'll take the Jets on that one. Same division. Bills. Redskins.
Taking the Bills. I got the Bills in this
So you
game.
have the Cowboys catching up in the division. You can give people hope again.
I'm not trying to give them nobody any. I don't want Cowboys Nation having any hope. The last hope that we had came in Miami, looked like a totally different team. It was snatched away by the Panthers on Thanksgiving Day. It was actually snatched away from us in the first half of that game, courtesy of 2 pick sixes. But hey, it was what it was.
I have the Redskins. I like what Kirk Cousins has been doing lately.
Right.
I think it's kind of wrong that they had the patience for Kirk Cousins but didn't have the patience for RG3.
You know how that go.
You know,
Coach wants what a coach wants. Let's ask Vince Young.
also, there's something about the Bills this season. At the beginning of the season, they were going to compete with the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fell off, and now they just kind of come back. I thought it was around Tyrod Taylor, but I don't think it's Tyrod Taylor anymore. I think Tyrod Taylor's just kind of
He hasn't been great, but he hasn't been bad.
So he's average. I mean, and I don't think they have the type of momentum the Redskins have. I think the Redskins are just trying to get this division.
Right.
They see an opportunity to make. It looks like they're the only team in the NFC East actually trying to win.
Right. And they should, rightfully so. Especially when you look at the Giants, you just never know what you're going to get out their team. So,
Speaking of the Giants, that's the next game. Panthers, Giants. Do the Giants stop the Panthers' win streak?
that is a unfortunate yes. Due to the fact that heard earlier yesterday from Panthers head coach Ron Rivera said that Jonathan Stewart was not be playing in this game, who's been a key part of their offense in the run game this season. So I just kind of wonder, I know Fozzie Whitaker came and stole a touchdown from a guy on Sunday, but Jonathan Stewart in the tackles, outside the tackles runner. I don't know enough about Fozzie Whitaker to let me know what type of running back he is. But I think Cam Newton keeps it as close as he can, and they do the best that they can with what they have. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers win, but as of right now, I got to go with the Giants.
I'm going with the Panthers because I believe in Cam Newton. And the defense will be able to slow down the Giants. And we all know the Giants' defense is not known for stopping anybody.
Right.
So even if it is Fozzie Whitaker.
But then again, if you look at what the Giants did back in the New Orleans Dome or Mercedes-Benz Dome, they can score with some of the best of them too. But unfortunately, when your pass defense is 32nd in the league, very dead last in the league, doesn't sit well for you. So.
True that. I just think Cam Newton. We all know Cam Newton MVP. Cam Newton going to carry the team.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think their first loss needs to come against the Giants.
This is Auburn Cam. He said he gonna be the run game.
Next up, Packers, Raiders. The Raiders are that off and on team. On their best day, looks like they can beat anybody. On their worst day, looks like they could lose to anybody.
Exactly. They look like Raiders of old.
The Packers, they've kind of been off and on a little bit too.
Had a big win against the Cowboys in blowout fashion later on in the game anyway.
I'll take the Packers.
I'm taking the Raiders in the black hole. In the black hole.
Actually, the Raiders are actually better offensively than the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't trust them.
And the thing is the Cowboys defense was getting to Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers made some plays at times with his feet, but Khalil Mack coming off of a game where he had 5 sacks?
Oh, Khalil Mack would be.
So he's got to be licking his chops as well. That's why I went with the Raiders, because of the fact that they know how to get to the quarterback as well.
I'll take the experience for Aaron Rodgers.
Kind of makes you wonder, had Alden Smith hadn't gotten suspended when he did because of his off-field issues, what this defense would still look like. Because he was actually playing pretty well with them.
He was.
Says he was going to come back to that team, to that organization for the way they treated him.
Next game, Cardinals, Eagles. I'll take the Cardinals. Sunday night matchup.
I take the Cardinals too, mainly because of their defense. Y'all know Sam Bradford can be a gift basket, can turn the ball over, and this secondary, they're ball hawks. Tyrann Mathieu, Patrick Peterson, just to name a few. They also know how to get out to the passer.
Their defense is the best part of their game, and then the fact that their offense is prolific as it can be, and the fact that the Eagles never win time of possession.
Right.
Cardinals, you just gonna keep Carson Palmer the ball all day.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck with that. Larry Fitzgerald, Floyd, and Brown.
You know Brown, he'll kill you, especially deep.
And David Johnson played well last week. We'll see how well he plays this week.
Right.
Last game, probably to me the most interesting game, because the Steelers need to win,
Mm-hmm.
and the Broncos Looks like they have Brock Osweiler in. Broncos going into Pittsburgh. Who you got?
I'm picking the Broncos exactly for why the same reason you gave for the Steelers is the same reason why I say for the Broncos, because I think for them being able to try to keep that number one, to try to keep that to take one of those number one or number two seed in the playoffs is really big for them, because it gives Peyton Manning an extra shot. That's assuming that they want Peyton Manning to come back and play. So I feel like this game is equally big on both sides, but I think the Broncos go in and they pull it out somehow.
I have Pittsburgh. I like what I've seen out of them. I think they're picking up momentum the same way Seattle is on the other side.
Right. You said it earlier, that's the team that I don't think anybody wants to face, but
Pittsburgh has to win almost. It seems like with the way the Jets' easier schedule, the Bills' easier, or the Chiefs' easier schedule.
Right.
So the Steelers have to win a tough game to get into the playoffs, and I think they will do that against their backup coach. Brock Osweiler can only do what Brock Osweiler can do, even though I still think he's better than Peyton Manning right now.
I disagree.
Great week.
Apologize about the bumping in the music and everything. Girl, you had some unruly neighbors over there for a second.
It's all good. Think they're fans of Miguel Cotto?
Probably so. Explains why they disrespectful like that.
Whoa.
But it's all
I wasn't
good.
gonna call him out like that.
Yeah, I had, you know, I calmed down a lot, like, cause when it seemed to got louder and louder, like it was intentional, I was about to really dough them, but knock on their door, say, man, really though. But I remember what you said. Hey, we both us is in here grinding. So I said, all right, I'll be the better man today. That's true story. This true story.
This is not a laughing matter, but I think it's hilarious.
It's true story, bro. I think you saw my eyes more than a few times. It was like, yo, let the bump keep. Anyway, man.
It's all good. It's all good. Short week. Going to catch that Star Wars premiere. Might even talk about it when we come back.
Most definitely.
All that coming up right here on the Sports Machine.
Peace out. Safe weekend.